Full House was full of characters who were happy and family friendly, things weren't exactly the same for the actors who played them. From their endless scandals with substance use and health issues to their downright criminal behavior, there are some pretty dark secrets behind the cast of Full House. Trust me guys, you're going to want to pay super close attention to this one. While Full House brought lots of joy to viewers while the show was on air, it spelled disaster for the young actors once it all ended. Their adult co-stars all had their own identity and careers before being cast on the show, but the same couldn't be said for the children, and like many child stars, the kids of Full House went down a similar unfortunate and dark path. Jodie Sweetin, who played the lovable Stephanie Tanner, struggled significantly after the show ended in 1995 and said that there's a real feeling of loss after a show like that ends. She said that she didn't know who she was outside of the show and her character, and that it was hard to figure out who you are after something like that. She also had to come to terms with the fact that she had lost her steady job at the young age of 13, and it was all that she'd really ever known. So because of that, she started to fall into the use of illegal substances to fill the void and help her numb the loss of her identity. She first revealed her struggles with addiction in a shocking interview with Good Morning America in 2006. Up until that point, no one had any idea that she had even been dealing with something like that. In her 2010 memoir, she went into even more detail about that difficult time in her life and said that there was even a time when she did it before the premiere of a 2004 Olsen Twins movie. When looking back at the pictures from the event, she said that she didn't even look strung out. So she was really able to pull off tricking everyone into thinking that she was fine, which just goes to show how far into her addiction she was, since she was so high functioning and no one suspected anything. On top of her struggles with substances, Jodie also faced a number of failed marriages over the years, and her third and most recent divorce happened just 10 years ago in 2013. Following her third divorce, she got into a relationship with a man named Justin Hodak, who was a convicted felon and caused a lot of drama for her. After a crazy fight between them, she was granted a restraining order against him, but according to TMZ, he threatened to take his own life if Jodie forced him to leave. The police were called on him several times after he continued to violate the restraining order and harass Jodie for years. But after everything was said and done, Jodie got married again in 2022 to a man named Mesko Wazaweski, and these days it seems like she's happy with her new husband and has a more quiet life with him and her two daughters from previous marriages. Another child star that was affected by the end of the show was Mary-Kate Olsen, who allegedly seriously struggled with an ED. In the early 2000s, it was popular for celebrities to be as thin as possible, and with that came some dangerous habits as celebrities tried to lose weight. As a child actor who had grown up in the industry, Mary-Kate was no stranger to the expectations of what she should look like, and when you pair these impossible expectations with her loss of identity, it makes sense why she struggled so much. As she continued to get even more thin, the public became concerned about her health and rumors spread everywhere, but it wasn't until 2004 that she finally checked into a rehab facility for a health-related issue, which many believe to have been the alleged ED. A source who was close to the family told people at the time that there was an intervention and it finally reached a point where the family had to step in and act. Without ever confirming or denying the rumors, Mary-Kate spoke to Elle magazine in 2008 and said that everyone goes through hard times and that is a part of life, but she admitted that the hardest part of it all is getting to the point where you feel like you can reach out for help. That same year, Mary-Kate also found herself at the center of the mysterious passing of the famous actor Heath Ledger. That year he passed away due to an OD on prescription medication, but his masseuse called Mary-Kate before calling the police. The police tried to get her to voluntarily talk to them for months, but she refused to talk with the law without immunity on the case. Her unwillingness to talk about the whole thing was just confusing and sparked several rumors about her possible involvement in the whole thing. One of the bigger rumors was that Heath passed away at her residence, but a source came forward to tell Access Hollywood that it wasn't true. The source said that Mary-Kate didn't own any apartments in the building where he passed, so there was no way the rumor could hold up. Her attorney made a public statement that she had nothing to do with the medication involved and that she had no idea where he got them from. And the case was ultimately closed, with Mary-Kate never being further questioned by the police. Aside from the issue facing the child stars of Full House, the adults weren't exactly perfect either. Many of them have been involved in scandals since the end of the show. John Stamos had a mostly good reputation up until 2015 when he was arrested for a DUI. Later that same year, he was formally charged with driving under the influence and he didn't contest it. So he was sentenced to 3 years of probation. While not much is known about what was going on with him at the time, he did admit when speaking to Matt Lure that he had lost his mother the year before and said that a lot of his poor decisions were based off off of that loss. But after the DUI, he checked himself into a rehab and got himself the help he needed. Lori Loughlin, who was his on-screen wife, also had a pretty good reputation up until her involvement with a college admission scandal in 2019. According to Radar Online, she was indicated on federal charges of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest service fraud. When the case was taken to trial, people revealed through court records that Lori was among 50 other people who allegedly participated in the multi-million-dollar bribery case. She and others were all accused of paying money to guarantee their children spots at various prestigious colleges like Stanford, Yale, USC, and more. According to TMZ, she and her husband were accused of paying $500,000 so that their daughters would be accepted on the USC rowing team, but they had never rowed or been on any kind of team, and their resumes and pictures had all been carefully created and staged. Despite their constant attempts to dismiss the charges and pleading not guilty, they finally decided to cave in and plead guilty for their involvement in 2020. In their guilty plea argument, Lori was sentenced to 2 months in prison while her husband was sentenced to 5 months. There's no doubt that over the years, the cast of Full House has struggled to get back on their feet following the end of the show. And no matter how happy their characters might have seemed, the truth behind their real lives is much darker than anyone would expect. But what do you guys think about all this? What do you think about many of the cast members dealing with the use of substances? And what are your thoughts on Lori's involvement with the college admission scandal? Let me know in the comments below.